What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the next episode of Bid Buzz, the South Shore Bid Experience. My name is Anthony Rapp, the Executive Director of the South Shore Business Improvement District. Those listening and watching may not know what a Business Improvement District is, so before I introduce our guest, we'll just give a quick highlight of what it is and what it does. So the Business Improvement District basically exists to make the towns it serves cleaner, safer, and friendlier to work, shop, and live in. And it does that by charging the businesses a small assessment. The assessment is then put into a central pot, which is a nonprofit. And then that nonprofit executes on behalf of the business owners who pay into it. And we do things like cleanups, events, marketing, things like this podcast, which, by the way, is a first of its kind podcast to my knowledge. So I'm going to keep saying it till I'm corrected. Dedicated exclusively to the bid and the businesses that reside in it. So with the PSA out of the way, we're now proud to introduce one of our newest members to the Business Improvement District, Mr. TJ Pingitore. Did I say the last name correct? I always stutter. Tell me, you can correct me.
Pingitore.
Pingitore. See, I always want to make it silent. Either way, Mr. TJ Pingitore. He is from Malt, which is a luxury dining and experience, an overarching brand that he's going to dive into and talk about. But before we get into that, we did have the pleasure of meeting you last year at one of our bid mixers, and you came, you explained the concept to all of us, what it was, what you were doing. We were all excited. And the finishing touches and the custom work and everything that went into building out this restaurant actually took an extended year to get there. So we're going to dive into what you did, all the custom finishings. But first, I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mike Bloomfield, because I left him out.
That's all right.
So, Mike,
if the camera never even touches me, it's not like I'm never
but
even
we want
here.
to bring in. So,
no, yeah. Was that where you first met him? Was that the bid mixer that you did at Sophia's?
I don't remember.
It was through Gail Castellano.
Yeah, it might have been.
It was at Sophia's, and I think that was the one that I helped put together with Gary. And then I had COVID, and I couldn't attend, so I probably didn't even meet you that day.
It's funny. We did 66 events in a year. We were present at, and you were the first one.
Ah, there we go. See, we were.
Yeah, I just remember.
Well, you were everywhere for a little while because I think if I met you first, I want to say it was at the Executive Club wine making. Was it there? Or
so that's
Vino
where we
Divino.
were. Yeah.
Yep.
But that was like a few days after I think, was that before or was that after? Whatever it was. But yeah, that was in probably March or April.
A
blur, yeah. Because then you were everywhere. You did it right. You understood, and people were talking about the fact that you were new in town, but you understood you had to be everywhere. You were at the SIDC conference. I believe you were at the Stoneborg Realtor Expo.
Yeah, Cyborg.
You were right. You were at Cyborg.
Events, yeah.
You were at all different events.
Conference. It was at everything.
Chamber events. I remember we were on somewhere in Forest. They have Sally Southern, I think, upstairs. Yep. You were talking to people. We introduced
Sitla. We were at Sitla. It was a judge's inauguration event. That was
they
great.
did everything.
Yeah. You have to do it smart. And
so
now,
before we go into how great he is, we're just going to give you a shout. So in addition to being bid member, as the president geek of Techie Geek in Eltingville, you're also a board member. So we're happy to have you here. And you're also a member of the Malt.
I am
So
also
I'm trying to tie it all together.
The reason I'm here,
we're bringing it all around, full circle.
Full circle.
Bringing it full circle.
I am a member of La Malt. I want to say we were one of the two probably original members.
He'll correct us.
He'll correct us.
We're early adopters.
You were early adopter.
When we signed up,
top 15.
Top 15.
Opened up pretty much right after we signed up.
And it was greatly appreciated.
We're gonna hand you the floor because, again, the purpose of this podcast, and this was actually Mike's idea, so I'm going to give him credit as much as I hate to do it, but by allowing all the members of the bid to come in and give it the platform here at the Advance and then have the content, have the video, have the audio, it's a tool that we hope businesses are able to use because we're going to present it to you. You could chop it up, do whatever you'd like with it, but it's a way that businesses can have access to stuff that they may not be thinking of or, quite frankly, may not have a budget to do, right? Because the bid's paying for all of this, the production, the post-production, and the distribution. So with that, keep that in mind, and the floor is yours, sir.
Well,
so please.
Just to hit on that, video is not cheap. So for you guys to be able to do this, the businesses that know that it's essentially a free resource, it's invaluable. Because video starts at $4,000 and goes up.
Everyone listening and
we
watching.
got our first reel. There we go. That's for the bid, though.
That's it.
But video is expensive, but it's the best means of advertising. And that's why when I brought the idea to the board, and it was great to see everyone on the board was willing to go with it because they knew the importance and how valuable this could be to the hundreds of members that we have in the bid.
Over 380 members in the bid, in just the towns of Annandale, Eltingville, and Great Kells. If you think about it, it's pretty crazy, right?
Not to harp on it, but if you think about the amount of resources, we've discovered it as a business, and I'll maybe get into one or two examples later, but the amount of resources that are here for the businesses that don't get utilized. The SBS group through Chamber of Commerce is absolutely incredible, mirroring everything they do. You guys, as a locale
don't even know
bid,
about them. That's the problem.
you have multiple bids in Staten Island too.
Yes. So we were the 72nd bid formed in the state, and we were the second on the island, and we're currently the 4th overall in the borough. So there's the Forest Avenue bid, which was the first bid in Staten Island. Then there's the West Shore bid. There's Newdorp Lane, and there's us.
Our bid. So
we got 4. And Mike, actually, did the I bid ever go through, or that's the West Shore and I bid is one and the same?
I think they were one of the same,
one of the
right?
same.
They were together.
Yeah, so we're 4. I'm correct.
I know there's other ones in formation
Correct,
process.
but there's 4 as of today. And interestingly enough, TJ, I don't know if I said this to you when we met way back when, but because Staten Island always gets a bad rap, right, with everything, especially when it comes from Manhattan. But we are the largest contiguous line bid, which I'll explain in a second, in the entire state. The way they form a bid is you need to have a contiguous line, and that's what kind of puts everybody together. So we've been able to utilize the Staten Island Rapid Transit, the railroad, and from Great Kills all the way down to Annandale, use that track. So we're technically the longest and largest bid in the city. Wow. As silly as that sounds.
Are we the largest with the number of businesses?
No.
So it's
geographically,
but
correct.
not the number.
It's
right.
still interesting to say.
Because once you go into Manhattan, you could
That's
be
it.
in 2 blocks and
you
have
500,000 people. Now let's talk about the brand. So I full disclosure, like Mike said, I am a member, proud to be a member. We've been there. We love it. Grand opening was just last week. So timely to have you on now, which is why we wanted to have you here to talk about the experience. I loved it, but let's talk about what went into it and what you're trying to convey. And it's more than dinner, right? Like as a former restaurateur, I can say it's not about going there to eat. It's about going there to experience something that, quite frankly, doesn't, or I should say, hasn't existed on Staten Island until now, because there's nothing like it anywhere. So with that.
Yeah, the thing we were most excited about when the concept just was in the baby infant stages was we had 26 or 27 Staten Island natives that were members in Red Bank. Right. So Red Bank being the proof of concept Royale, Colonia being the first location 12 years ago, more public concept, Red Bank's private, BYO, with a cigar concept there. Right. Staten Island, very different. The idea here was it's 3 times the size. We were building to suit in the building, so we had the space that we knew we could custom build the way that we needed to build it. We weren't forced into a location. And the thing that we were really the most excited about was the members that gave us great feedback in the island, the inner workings of the island, right. The who's who. It helped jumpstart me even a little bit. Like planning out 66 events in a year, it's the most I've ever done.
It's tough.
We had a $250,000 marketing budget. We just completely paused. And that was last January. I told you the story. Yeah. For everybody that's listening, when you're planning a marketing budget and you're launching a business, you've got to allocate everything everywhere and know you're going to get a return on it. So the best return we saw for Staten Island was grassroots. It was a totally different type of campaign. It was literally Shark Tank style, going knocking on doors.
I remember commending you. I still commend you because you, like
I had
Mike
1,000
said,
books
you were
printed.
literally everywhere.
Yeah, I knocked
everywhere.
896 doors myself, and I did it the first, call it 5-6 months, to get to meet everybody, to meet who we thought, from all the feedback we got from our existing members in Red Bank that live here, would be great potential members, right? So the business professional community of Staten Island, the executive community, business owners, entrepreneurs, innovators, that's our audience, right? So if you back into the concept of what we're doing, and you mentioned experience before, people today need variety.
Yep.
They need to move. Like Central Jersey moves pretty quick. New York moves as quick or quicker. And what I mean by that is business is fast, things are moving quick, everybody's dealing with traffic, and it's just a lot going on. To be able to create an experience where you can come and feel like you're escaping and have multiple different things to do, right? So different experiences, areas within the club. We're categorizing it as a private member club that focuses on business and leisure. So you can be comfortable bringing a client there. It's not like your old style 50s kind of good old boys club, No,
definitely not. And that's a good thing. I'm glad you mentioned that because
those are great clubs that were around. Don't get me wrong.
But we want to get some more females involved, right?
Well, we have, and it's funny, we have five female members,
right.
5 female members that each can bring 7 guests. Every member can bring 7 guests. We have 2 experiences. You're a member or you're what's called a first diner. So first dining experiences, we want to give everybody an opportunity, and everybody that's listening, chance to come in and experience everything La Malt has. That means sit down, you take a tour, you pay as you go, and then you basically move around, see everything, eat, however you want to experience it, and then you either join or you come back with a member.
So I'm going to interrupt you 1 second. Can we say that anyone who's listening or watching this podcast and sees you on it and hears it can call make a reservation or something and say, hey, listen, I saw TJ or heard TJ on the South Shore Bid podcast, and he said to use that and I can get a reservation, or can we do that?
Absolutely. You can get a reservation. Mention the South Shore Bid Group, mention the podcast. You can, of course, mention my name if you'd like. But what will happen is it's an upscale casual dress code, right? So when you come in, there's a certain dress. You come in, you enjoy. You can have a cocktail first, then sit down. There's an area for the first diners, non-members. Beautiful area called the Toro. It's right across from the sushi area.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful space.
Two big things that, and I know Mike and I talked about this way back, was like what Staten Island is doing food-wise and what maybe they, not to say lacked, but what was just a lot less here. Right. There's no real big steakhouse here.
Correct.
And there was we tried about 6 or 7 different sushi places. Good. And we were excited to bring the concept from Red Bank up to here. Yeah. Because in our minds, what we're going to attempt to do and what we feel like we're doing now is just elevating the quality of fish, elevating the quality of the sushi experience. Yeah. And we didn't change much from Red Bank because it was
and the
running.
bar itself, just the sushi bar, I should say, is beautiful. It almost, the food, you eat with your eyes first, right? That's what they say. Okay. But just seeing it and then watching them make the roll or the sashimi, in other words, it makes it that much more of an experience because it's breathtaking. It's stunning the way the bar is set.
It's one of my more enjoyable things is to just sit. It's almost like you're just escaping and staring and watching Executive Chef Kenny or Jackie. We call him Jackie Chan. Yeah. He's great. He's awesome. Compile it, put it together. It's very relaxing. It's a very
especially
chill,
you're not doing anything. Nice to sit back.
And it really is beautiful. And we got to watch it. Like we were in there early on and watching the construction, but to see the transformation in the last 2 weeks when it really came together, when they finally took the wood off the floors and you could see the floors, finally close up the bar. When we walked in there in the soft opening or the day before, it was like, all right, it finally all came together. And you said it was, what, 98% all custom?
The amount of custom work, and we learned, let's face it, this took longer than we would have wanted
but all good things do, and we all know that.
And that was the most gratifying thing to hear was, you know what? We wish you opened a few months earlier, but it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
And that was a great kind of like tip-off as we opened. We said, great, we're glad to hear that. But for people that lived locally, like I know, Mike, you live pretty close. You're not far.
I am your closest member.
You are.
I would definitely be.
12, 15 times.
Well, the Honorable Landry might be closer than
no, we figured out I'm actually closer.
You saw the tiering of it. You saw the gradual build of it. And to your point about the last, when you walked in and it was completely finished, of course, it's gratifying, but at the same time, it's amazing the difference that some fixtures and when you program lighting correctly, it changes it. And that's what I think a lot of people thought with the renderings, that they were inflated. And is this really going to look like this?
And even in the pictures, it was beautiful. I feel like after seeing it done, the pictures don't even do it justice.
Yeah, and all credit to Celano Design Group. I want to make sure they get their due credit. And IBO Construction, Eddie Mattioli and Vincent Celano, I want to make sure both of them, because they're incredible to deal with, work with, is the concepting that went into it to get those renderings exact. And the reason is we knew right almost a week or two before that, we're going to do a door-to-door campaign. We're going to use these booklets, and those booklets have to be emblematic of what's on the wall in the open-aired space. Yep. We signed up probably 60 people with essentially air. But at the same time,
we signed up at 100 walls.
At 100 members on opening, almost 100 members on opening, and that's not counting Red Bank Global Access. We have a two-way access, Staten to Red Bank or Red Bank to Staten as a perk, as an add-on for a small extra fee. They can get access to both member networks. It was a lot to... Pre-opening, we needed to be at a certain number, and we shattered it in a great way. Staten Island was very receptive to it, so we're really grateful.
And we had the pleasure of, thankfully, you got us in the Red Bank before, so we were able to experience the food before. Yeah. And then you have, I believe this is a new chef, right? The chef you have at La Malt is not the one from Red Bank moved up. This was a new hire.
He trained in Red Bank. He's a former chef in Red Bank. He's actually a pretty well-known chef in our area. And we have another executive chef who's over at Meximoto in Metuchen.
So let's talk about that. I'm glad you segued into it.
And giving credit to Executive Chef Kenny, who's our sushi chef in Staten Island.
So talk about, wait, we got to go back to that. Talk about breaking a world record in a restaurant, because this is the first I've ever heard it.
I have to share with the listeners this quick 10 seconds, because it maybe a little bit more, but it's the way that we got there. How did we get to say the world record? Right. We learned a lot about all of the United States, the liquor laws and everything essentially there. WineChateau.com is our sister company in New Jersey. So the access to all the distributors started us off, right? But we needed to know how much can we get and what can we do with a family-friendly restaurant that's 8,000 square feet hidden to get people to want to find us first, then come in and dine with us, right?
Good marketing. It was good marketing.
We had to think of something that was big because they got American Girl doll, the story, globally. That was the town picked. I don't know how that happened, but it was incredible. Okay. She's an Indian American Girl doll. And then you also had #1 most improved Main Street in the country. They're called the GAMSA Awards, Great American Main Street Award. So we're this anchor business on the plaza, and we have to think about how are we going to keep pace with Metuchen?
Yeah.
So not just opening, but doing something special. So we researched all of the establishments in Mexico, their laws, why they don't get a lot of tequila in the bars. There's maybe one bar that has over 300. The world record on non-Guinness boat that they knew of is Barrio in London was over 600.
Okay.
And then MGM Grand Vegas was the one we had to for
That's what I was going to say. I was waiting. I was thinking Vegas
which
or
is
AC
Mama
or...
Rabbits. So those two places, we had benchmarks. So we went out and shattered it and did over 900. I think we're over 1,000 now. Unique bottles with labels. So when you see the bar, it's this wild-looking Katrina head, Day of the Dead theme. And it's all unique tequila mezcal. It's mezcal as well. It's a combination of both.
Yeah.
And besides breaking the record, I've heard from other people the food's phenomenal.
We haven't gone there.
We haven't
embarrassed. We got to go.
We have to cross a bridge.
We got to visit them.
We're getting a lot. It's funny. A lot of our members, it's great. When you 25 minutes away and you have a member base and their networks, and then you open another place, it just taps into each other, which is cool.
Which was getting me before we jumped into Meximoto. Did I say that right?
Meximoto.
Meximoto.
Meximodo.
Meximoto, as we get back into Meximoto, was the thing. One of the things I'd love to see, and I know we've spoken about it, is almost like joint mixers with the other club, right? Because you do have Red Bank, you do have Staten Island. Of course, I'm joining it for the ability to take my wife for Valentine's dinner, the ability to do leisure, business, clients, but as well as on a business side, it'd be great. And what we spoke about is to meet other business owners who maybe do want to meet there. You have a mixer night, bring people in the Red Bank, vice versa, see the other clubs.
That vertical integration, I know that's a word, right? So
yeah,
it's a
no,
word
sure.
everybody
Yeah,
uses. So winechateau.com, liquor, lockers, right? In Jersey, it works perfectly. New York is going to be different based on law, but we want to make sure that everybody knows about all of our different locations, and you have 2 public and you have 2 private.
Right.
So there's a nice,
so
we're looking at more locations too.
Just to be clear, and I know you've said it and we've both alluded to it, but just so anyone listening or watching can really understand, because I'm a member and people ask me all the time, what does it include? And I'm not even educated enough to talk about it. So give me, we're not talking about numbers, but just talk about what membership gets you access to. You mentioned a locker, you mentioned several things, but overall, what are we getting?
Getting a reservation in Staten Island is sometimes very challenging, right? To call up to get a reservation and to have that kind of exclusivity to make sure that everything is taken care of. If you're bringing somebody, that they're coming in and it's going to be a great experience. Right. The membership itself sits around exclusivity, privacy, the experience, and where they're coming into. Alongside that, you have this locker concept, right? So you can bring bourbon, scotch, whiskey, tequila, vodka, gin.
Which is great.
Bring your wine, right? New York, you have a liquor license and you have a BYO. Jersey is different. Laws are very different there. Our concepts have shifted as the laws are different. But as far as what's included, especially the founding members, you're both considered our founding member, which means before the doors open. It's not that there's a lot more, but there are some certain perks that exist for you guys that are different than who would be joining. But for now, as we launch and as we're launched and up and running, you've got the ability to bring your own, right? You've got the ability to dine exclusivity and know that you have the ability to book an event as long as we know ahead of time to be able to do that. And then the members aren't blocked out in any way. They can still enjoy their experience, and we can run different things simultaneously.
And I think it's interesting because the BYO is one of the things that kind of confused me. And I've even said this to you, but it actually, the more I thought about it, and even last night when I had a nice bottle of wine, my wife for her birthday, it makes more sense almost because not every place carries what you want. So it's a good thing to do. Want. Right. So we love a bottle of wine called Gattinata. Now, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's not expensive. It's $50 a bottle. But there's no restaurant I've ever been to that's ever had it. And I'm talking high end, low end, everything in between. But we, for some reason, enjoy it. So I'm going to be bringing some to you.
I love it.
And it's nice to know that we can go have a fantastic dinner and I could pull out that bottle of wine for a birthday.
I won't refuse a small taste.
Yeah, no, listen, if you've had it, it's good. It's a good wine.
And
it's inexpensive.
I insist you taste my wine as well.
I would love to.
Is Arbor Mist.
But it's true. Like
I'll try yours too.
Some people love expensive wine and some people like cheap wine. Let's get Arbor Mist. I think it as a joke, obviously, because just to bother my locker mates.
But still.
But yeah, no, that's the concept. But Nicole's the same way. She loves wine, but she only likes certain wines. So when you go out, now to know, hey, It might not be the most expensive bottle of wine, but I know we're going to go out, have a beautiful, delicious steak, and she could have the wine she enjoys.
Or guys and gals who enjoy a certain scotch. So what is it? The Pappy Van Winkle. What are these?
Oh, yeah.
So
Old Carter, Pappy.
I'm not a scotch. I'm not a scotch guy.
I'm going to do a bourbon tasting. I'm going to host it.
Good. I'm not a scotch guy. I'm not a bourbon guy.
I don't know if I've ever even had a bourbon. Is Jack Daniel's a bourbon or like a whiskey?
Yeah.
What's a bourbon?
Bourbon is 51% corn. It's
I-
a 2-year American charred oak, and it's at least it's a 2-year age statement in American
It's
oak.
okay. I'm your worst member. You
But the
could say
idea
it.
of being able to do it. So like a guy like Moss, he's a Macallan guy, right? And a lot of our friends are all Scotch
That
guys.
bourbon? Scotch?
It doesn't matter. But you could bring in a bottle, right? He's got bottles. I know that I've even gotten for his birthday and stuff that are, they don't
Right.
have them in, they're not going to have them, even at La Malt. And it's not to say they should have it, but they're not carrying $5,000 bottles of Macallan. I don't know if you do. I haven't seen them, but I don't know if they do.
We have a surprise.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying, but in
There's
other
a couple.
words,
There's a couple surprises.
but you bring it in, you drink it, and that's it. Now you know you're going out for a great meal. You can enjoy what you want. They bring it over to you in a beautiful cart. It's and again, it goes to that experience of knowing what you're doing and what you're getting when you walk in the door.
What's great is control. You asked about what comes with it. The member has a lot of control. One of the taglines in Red Bank is, it's your club, not ours. It doesn't mean run rampant, but
Yeah.
it just means that when you're going to get a reservation, you know that you're going to be able to come in and it's going to be a great experience. You're bringing clients in or prospects. You're having a dinner. You want to make sure it goes great. So that business end, our staff is trained in business introductions too. So where like if they know what each industry someone's in and they get to know people, they can make those comfortable introductions. Whereas sometimes maybe people are just, it might be awkward going up and meeting somebody.
And it's not rushed.
No.
It's not, you're not pushed through.
And also, there's a 4 to 6 vibe too. You come in, have a drink, have an app. As far as being a member, you don't have to always have the huge sit down. It can be simple in and out. We want to be able to do that. And then eventually, we're going to launch with lunch in a private lunch scenario where you can do it first Tuesday every month. You want to host a female executive group, or if you want to do like an innovators group, male, female, whatever it may be. Lunch and learn.
Already emailed. But yeah, and it goes back to you opened last week, and the members walk in, and your staff already knows our names, and they couldn't be. Everyone's so pleasant. They want to help you. They're there to make sure everything's going great. This table good, and and when we left, my wife said that was great. They knew what they were attentive and they caring. I'm like, we're members. They want to make sure we're happy.
I love it. It's great to hear.
I got what might be a difficult question, or it might not be. But again, as a newbie to the bid, and clearly from all your work here over the last 18 months or hitting the street, grinding, what's one of the things that you realize is unique about the Staten Island market that is either a hurdle or that has helped you?
I'm going to be very direct,
Go ahead.
transparent. I had my judgments about Staten Island. I grew up in Red Bank, south of Red Bank. I was only here I went to Ryder, so I came 2 or 3
drove
times.
through, yeah, everybody
Victory
knows.
Boulevard, Arthur Kill Road, like
Go ahead,
different
we know.
areas where you just don't have a chance to really get to know. And that was my only perception. Getting here in January and driving the island and seeing it's beautiful. And everyone in this island has been so welcoming. Like when I tell you, when you have somebody randomly walk into your business and just to say hello, we wanted to meet everybody. So that's how we did it, one of the ways and events. Nobody, not one person was rude.
Which you would think is the exact opposite.
He's definitely lying.
I am
He's
not
being rude.
There was one guy I think I caught off in an insurance office. He was like whatever, but not even. He just walked away. But everyone here, because we wanted to go where we thought would be a great fit, an opportunity, and that creates. We feel really great about the 100 members that we have so far. It's a great group, and everybody cares about it, and they want to grow the club. They want to grow their business, and they're going to use it as that. They use the club as a product sometimes.
And I've already in the soft opening had a very good conversation with someone, a business owner that I've never met, and had a good conversation. And we're going to see next week. We're going to have a meeting, and that's exactly what I wanted, right? And so if it pays off on the soft opening, bravo! I'm a member year after year.
It's funny you say it pay off to people like, well, what's the value in the membership? And I can say the exclusivity, the privacy, all that thing. That's great. That's one side of it. But the other side of it is there's literally an ROI payback on that locker. There's an ROI payback on what's your average client worth.
Right.
When you picked up 2 at the club, I actually joined Le Malt Royale in Red Bank as a member before I started working.
Makes sense.
The group. I was a member and I used it for clients, to pick up clients. And now you have member reciprocity. If you join Staten, you have an opportunity to also join Red Bank and Red Bank up here. There's that ability to save on the locker, but also, is pick up clients.
Week two, what do you feel like I don't want to say hurdles because that makes it sound bad, but what do you feel like the growing pains, maybe that's a better term, are going to be the next 6 months for such a huge endeavor and such a beautiful
When you
space?
launch a bigger business, you have to make assumptions. You have to make assumptions for the business plan, for the model. You have to make assumptions and you have to figure out channels where you want to market and how you want to spend and where you want to go. And you have to see hurdles potentially ahead. Before we opened, we started thinking about year 2 already. Because members, we're going to want our member retention to be like Red Bank. The goal is to have you guys all rejoin. So you have to put things in place before you open that start thinking about year 2.
Makes sense.
Right? And you also have to deliver an excellent experience. But I think one of the key things is that we don't know how Staten Island is going to be. We can make an assumption in the summer. Potentially our strategy as a business, you have the Malt experience is somewhat of a slight amoeba because we have set things in place, but we're also flexible with some things as well. So we have to be open, and agile that way.
By nature of the business, you have to be flexible because it's a restaurant. So you know what I didn't ask? La Malt. Give me the background of the name, the brand. Where did it come from? What's the origin story?
So it's a name that it was the founder and owner, Sora Babral, had come up with the name La Malt, just based on some elements of how it sounded, how it looked. He was playing with words, and it really was pretty simple. He actually and loved it and loved how it looked on branding.
And the domain was available.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Nobody gets a 6-letter domain anymore.
There you go.
That's great. That's funny.
It's nuts. So we have lamalt.com.
Which is probably your umbrella, and then you have your
L-E. Yeah, L-E. Everyone does L-A. L-E-M-A-L-T.
Yeah.
Especially in Staten Island. La Malt.
Yeah.
La.
Or the S.
Yeah. La Malts. Yeah. La Malts.
And on the day of the soft opening, they were giving the members the little lapel pins. Yeah. And it was great, though, because then I got home and I couldn't get mine off. I'm like, they locked this on. It's like a special little thing. I'm like, they just branded my jacket.
You got pinned.
And that ticket can never come off.
You got your button.
I call Rap, and he's like, mine came off.
Yeah, mine came off.
Yeah, it took me like a half an hour to
They were trying to
out.
prove a point with you. You
Yeah,
know you're special over
They
there.
branded me.
You know that you're special.
It's cool because when you have guests, you can bring up to 7 guests. You as the member know who the other members are. That's the pin.
Being there twice already. Soft opening, went with a few friends on Saturday. I can't tell you have the best steak on Staten Island yet because part of that is consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Someone told me best restaurant in Staten Island. I said, hold it.
I love it.
Consistency. You got to wait at least a month
working,
before you throw that out. Anyone who knows me knows I love to complain. You've learned that over very quickly.
I think TJ knows that pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well through our text. I had zero to complain about food-wise on Saturday. Everything we ate was perfect. The steak was perfect.
It's amazing.
The mac and cheese. They have a chorizo mac and cheese. Phenomenal. Can't wait to go. Let's just go right now and get at the bar.
We might be going tomorrow night after that fundraiser.
We're definitely going. That's Thursday night, by the way.
Thursday night?
But yeah, the food was excellent. And I think right now I could say one of the best steaks on Staten Island I've had.
Which cut
Consistency.
did you get, by the way?
We got the tomahawk.
Tomahawk. Got it. Okay.
Next time I think I'll try, I think there was a porterhouse, and then you also have a cowboy ribeye, if I remember.
We got the A5 on there.
They have the
Just
A5.
got
Got the
it.
A5
Is that the cowboy ribeye or is that
I think
different?
that's the strip. Is it? How do you have it listed, the A5 on that?
They have it. I'm actually going over there today.
There you go.
So I'm going to look because I was off the weekend, but we got it in. I am going to see everything. I want to take a look at it. But I'll text
If you're doing a sampling, I'll stop by. It's on my way home.
were you Saturday? Yeah, because I wasn't there Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to be there again.
It's a great cut.
I'm going to be there this Saturday again.
I love flavor, so I lean a little more toward a fattier.
Right.
Like a
A5,
ribeye, porterhouse. Like I love.
I love ribeyes, but being fat myself, I now try to lean towards the filet because they're the actual. If you look at the calorie
I like how you
count,
said that. You like to lean
the lean.
toward the fillet.
I like to lean towards the
lean
filet. But if you look at, I love a prime rib. You ever look at the calorie of a prime rib?
Let's reel it back in.
Reel it back in.
Let's
You
reel it back in.
brought me here. There's no realness in.
So again, we're here talking about the newest member of the Business Improvement District, La Malt. So TJ, where are the places? What are the handles? Where can people watching and listening learn more about you, the brand, and the overall experience?
Instagram. It actually are all of our branding and video and experience and really creating that. We want you to feel like you're there without being there yet. So bringing a lot of times when you first open, people have to walk in. So we thought a lot about that probably 3 months ahead of time. And we created a social media campaign, Instagram campaign. You'll see us in City Lifestyle magazine. They've been fantastic. And they're a newer Bridget McLaughlin, the publisher. We've got great success from that magazine. We've done very well with it. And they're very methodic how they run print. In some cases, print can be a lost art today. But creating QR codes and bringing the magazine to life and being able to show the experience in there.
Yeah. It changes the whole thing.
Changes the whole thing.
The video company you hired, a social media company that was there on the soft home, doing a phenomenal job with the reels they were pushing out.
He has 11 million followers.
Does he? Yeah, phenomenal.
He's got a smart business because he uses his business but then he brings in, oh, by the way, I have 11 minutes.
It makes sense. Right.
And he's worked with clients just based on that.
Yeah, because I saw the reels they were pushing out. They were excellent.
We're going to be doing an influencer night where we're bringing in some big Manhattan, Brooklyn, Jersey, Staten Island influencers.
That's cool.
For them, and they're going to be stationed.
Does that mean we get kicked out that night?
What's that?
Do we get kicked out that
Well,
night?
it might be a Sunday because we're not open anyway on Sunday. So we try not to ever boot.
You do
girl
know, I
Rosella
know.
Rago.
Every time there's movement in there, I literally am a block away.
Listen,
I'm at the Dunkin' Donuts.
If there's
girl
ever
Rosella.
an issue, I know you're going to help us. So
Oh, yeah,
you're
it's
right
true.
there.
You'll call Mike. The fire alarm's going off. Can you go check it out for me?
It works both ways.
Do you know Cooking with Nona, Rosella Rago? We had her on. She's a big
she was great,
influencer, big food influencer. We could put you in touch with her. I'm sure she'd love to get involved.
Yeah, I do feel like somebody had mentioned her.
Cookbooks.
She's doing a lot with
followers.
love to
She's
meet her.
great.
Panini Grill. What's Pete? What's his name?
Great, Peter.
Peter. Yeah.
Yep.
And now they've also
member.
teamed up with, I don't know if you know them yet, but you should, and I'll introduce to them, the Chow and Cello girls. They do limoncello parties.
I never heard of them. That's great.
We worked with them when we had the restaurant, and then since then they've blown up. Now they're doing stuff with the Porterhouse Party guys, the Stretch the Mutts guys. They have an experience at your house where they bring everything and do everything, but they're great. And they have a large following, and they would probably love to be a part of the influencer night because they're definitely a part of the influencer community on Staten Island.
It creates a great synergy between the members, the guests, like that whole experience. Because we were talking about events and bringing the members together. We want to be able to do that on a really nice once a month member night, jazz twice a month. We're going to do what I call, it's like elementing, like elements. Like what are the different components and elements of the club? A big one is going to be some of the external events we do, some of the internal events we do, and then even just a member night once a month that you guys all know that the maximum number of members are driving toward that maybe one night a month. And not that you guys are coming all the time. There'd be a specific night and maybe a tasting another night.
Maybe a T-shirt night.
So we're going to have a lot of variety.
T-shirt night. It's not going to be a T-shirt night. This is the part where we like to give you the floor and just ask the final question, really. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you feel is important, that anybody who's unfamiliar with the brand, or obviously they know where we could find out more, we've heard how great the food is, the service, the experience, but is there anything else that's important to you to share with the community about what the brand is, what it does, what to expect, or do we cover all the bases?
It's so
It's your
cliche,
platform.
but walk in. Just walk in. When you come in, it's a little unexpected. Like you hit the front door.
No, it's completely unexpected. It's
So,
not a little.
and I don't want to ruin it, but book a reservation, come in, enjoy yourself. First dining experience, lobby bar, have a cocktail, let our team get things ready for you, come in, sit down, enjoy yourself, 2 couples, 1 couple, whatever, and really experience it for yourself. I'm not just saying because I work there, like
it's
all these
fantastic.
concepts. What I found is when we did the tours, people would say, oh, I'll get there, tell me about it, tell me. You really have to come in and see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when we get people leaving, it's humbling. They're amazing. So many people have been so nice. Is that it's unlike anything else on Staten Island. That's what we kept hearing. And there's some other
1000%.
beautiful places I've been to on Staten Island. I know there's some gorgeous places, but it was good to hear that. It was good to know that we've differentiated just to be a cool new type of vibe.
And we'll make sure to throw a QR code on the video. And when he's talking that, you could go and scan and make a reservation.
Yeah. And again, that he meant what he said because we'll follow up. But anyone who's listening or watching, if you call the Malt and you mention the South Shore bid, they'll allow you to have, and what's the exact term? First dining experience? Is
Yeah,
that
and
what
when I
it's
say walk in, it's hard for just to.
You can't really walk in because
but
there's
when I
a
say
bodyguard
walk in,
with a,
just
you
come
can't
in, book your reservation, come in and see it. And if you just put Malt, Lemalt, Imperiale, there's an E at the end, Imperiale. You'll have it on the probably below or somewhere on here. Book a reservation. It's right there, right in front.
Very cool.
Yep.
TJ, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. We hope everyone listening and watching takes advantage of that exclusive offer to bid members and also to people listening and watching to the podcast right now because you really should try it. You really should get involved. Thank you, Mike, my co-host.
Thank you for having me.
For being here and navigating the bid experience. Anyone listening or watching, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, like our content, share our content, get it out there because, again, we exist right now. This whole platform is here and this whole podcast is here very simply to promote the businesses that are on it. So we all need to promote our local businesses, and we hope you do. I'm Anthony Rapp, and that's a wrap.